Hi, my name is Sarah Malik, and I'm the CEO and founder of Achillea Peer Tutoring. We are an MWBE National Youth-led Trauma-informed organization in the process of becoming a 501c3 nonprofit. There are more than 400,000 kids in foster care, and about only 54% of them graduate high school or get a GED, and less than 3% get a college degree. So we're furthering the UN Sustainable Development Goals of quality education, which is number 4, and reduced inequality, which is number 10, through Achillea, which is a youth-led national organization that provides peer tutoring services from high school tutors to K-12 students who are in foster care, discharge, or at risk of entering the system. This is a map of all 24 Achillea states. We're even in Jamaica and Canada. We started as a small club at Hunter College High School 2 years ago, and we had only 5 members. Then the pandemic hit, and we tried. Then we had to make it virtual, and after that, we expanded because we could match students and tutors from across the country. They didn't have to be next to each other anymore. So it became national. Now we have 15 students on our staff, 100 students matched with 100 tutors from the 24 states, and we provide 122 hours of tutoring per month. I started Achillea because of my experience with the foster care system. I spent 2 years in the system, and I wanted to help other kids like me. So how do we vet tutors? Through interviews, teacher recommendations, report card checks, and training exams. 97% of Achillea tutors residing in New York City attend highly selective schools with an acceptance rate of less than 10%, like Hunter College High School. 98% of Achillea tutors take honors classes with an average of a 3.9 out of 4 GPA. And then in terms of managing tutors, once our tutors take our training and they pass the training exam, they're automatically entered into our database where we match students based on availability, grade level, subject requests, bilinguality. We do accommodate foreign languages and minimum age gaps. We're in the process of coding that database, so all of the matches will be automated. And then our tutor managers check in regularly with tutors to offer support and resources. Our tutors take detailed notes of sessions every session, and then also send monthly progress reports to agencies to track student progress so that everyone in the student support system can collaborate to help advocate for the student. I've enclosed screenshots of the PDFs of our progress reports. So for example, for this progress report, our tutor, Mia, said she met with her student, Andreas, 2.5 hours in the month of May. Over the month of May, Andreas missed 4 tutoring sessions, which is very problematic. And as you can see over here, for the technical issues, in response to the statements, my students' Wi-Fi issues have negatively affected their performance this month. She said 5, which means she strongly agrees, and same for device issues. I actually hyperlink progress reports and session notes that actually have much more favorable stats, but the reason I chose to screenshot a progress report where it doesn't look perfect, because as you can see, the student only slightly improved with participation, confidence, and their relationship, and their focus stayed the same, was because I wanted to highlight the reality that many of our students do have these technological issues, and our staff are well equipped to help advocate for them when that happens. So when we get a progress report like this, our tutor managers and the tutors then reach out to the student's foster care agency to advocate for them to get the device and technical support they need. Because if they're missing our tutoring sessions, that's bad enough. But then that also means they're probably not able to attend school. So they're not getting additional academic support and they're not learning in school, which will put them even more behind their peers. So then the question is, why Achillea? Why this model? From the tutor's perspective, at least, Achillea tutors are compensated with community service credit, which is a graduation requirement for most high schools. And they get comprehensive training that goes beyond sessions, which we are currently animating into videos. This is actually a screenshot. If you're on our website, you could probably see this, of what our training resources look like and what they're hyperlinked to. So 91% of our tutors said they learned something new about the foster care system, which goes to this hyperlink. And 100% of our tutors said they learned trauma-informed practices that can better inform their relationship with others. And 100% of tutors said they learned sustainable teaching techniques, which could then further develop, their teaching careers if they decide to go in that avenue. I and my team actually developed these curriculums ourselves, and they were reviewed and accredited by professionals. So then why Achillea for the students? You can kind of see an equation over here. So peer dynamics with minimal age gaps lead to long-lasting friendships because the tutors and students have similar experiences that they share. and they can empathize with each other, and students feeling more comfortable asking for help, which will increase student engagement. So, there are currently about 400,000 kids in the foster care system at any given time, but 600,000 enter the system per year. So that's 200,000 that are either discharged or receiving preventive services who don't get the proper academic support. They're at risk, but they're seen as less in need of help because they're not currently in the system. We help those 200,000 youth as well. Additionally, 100% of foster youth experience trauma and 25% have PTSD, including myself, actually. And TIC helps train tutors, identify student triggers to avoid re-traumatization, and create a safe space, like the training module I had showed everyone that we make the tutors undergo, and then they take the training assessment. Most of our NYC tutors attend specialized high schools, which helps motivate marginalized groups who may not otherwise consider applying. This is so important because as we all know, specialized high schools have an issue with being diverse and accepting students of various socioeconomic backgrounds. So when our students are paired with tutors who've actually been to these schools, they learn more about the process and they're more motivated to apply, even though this, they may not have been exposed to this opportunity before. Additionally, 67% of Achillea administration has lived experience in foster care, which helps shape student-friendly policies and procedures because we can put ourselves in their shoes. Here are some quotes. So Ayana, an Achillea alum now in college, said she doesn't feel so judged, not knowing something when the tutor is a peer. She thinks it's amazing this program was started by a foster kid, and Achillea hasn't only motivated her academically, but it helps her strive to do better. And then for tutor Alice Hellman, she said, "For all my life, it's been my dream to teach, and being a tutor here at Achillea has brought me so much joy. I'm so glad to be helping those who need it, and I love what I'm doing." And who need it while doing what I love. Yeah. So where we're at now, so we've just entered into a fiscal sponsorship for tax-exempt status, and we formed our board of directors last month. On the left, you'll see Sarah Childs, the CEO of the Red Light Corbett's Foundation, and Bill Baccaglini, the CEO of the New York Foundling. They recently joined our board through our fiscal sponsorship, and we also recently filed for 501c3 status and Kirkland & Ellis has been providing us pro bono services to help get that done. They're one of the top firms in the US. Through our fiscal sponsorship, the Foundling pledged $10,000. They're donating it to us. And grant writers guided by Sarah Childs, who has her own foundation, are helping us create proposals pro bono also for more foundations to write more, to get more donations from foundations. So how do we plan on sustaining our model? So through fundraising, grant proposals, pitches to other business incubators like DYCD, need for service fees for out-of-state foster care agencies with special needs budgets, and social media marketing, which is a huge part of it. We recently had a TikTok post recruiting tutors that got us 35,000 views and 13,000 likes, and submitting to other publications like Chalkbeat, which we were featured in. So what we need in terms of the budgeting, we want contract grant writing and contract grant writer and a pitch deck consultant so that we can continue, raising money through these competitions or through writing to foundations. Most grants under $50,000 take 15 to 25 hours to write. We only need 15 because, as I stated before, we've done most of the work. I've actually written many of these proposals under the guidance of Sarah Childs, who has her own foundation. So the average rate for a successful writer is $75 to $150 per hour. So if you multiply that by 15, we can only afford to pay one person who's under $90 an hour. However, a smaller grant with looking for less than $550,000 has a flat fee of $200 to $500. So we can afford anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5, right? Because 3 would give us $450 each. 4, we'd have to pay $336 each, and 5, we'd have to pay $270 each, which all falls within our budget. So ultimately, we've decided that the small grant with the flat fee is better because when respondents submit 3 to 5 applications, 89% of them were awarded at least one grant and 69 were awarded 2 to 5 grants. And we're always looking for discounts if we can't get it completely pro bono like we did with Kirkland & Ellis. Sustainability and future, here are our goals. We want to scale beyond the 24 states and include more chapters across the country. So all specialized high schools in the fall, expanding to college tutors. We want an alumni program to reward outstanding students who have then become tutors with employment opportunities, so they get stipends. Pink salaries, that's a huge one. All of our staff are female. Most of them are people of color. We're an MWBE business, and rewarding and compensating our staff monetarily from an early start shows them how much their time is worth, how valuable they are. because later on in life, we know that they're going to face discrimination in the workplace. So they do deserve to get this equitable payment. And then incentivized program that will reward youth for their hard work, and paying for audits to get our infrastructure evaluated and to attract more donors. So here's my contact information. I can also place that in the chat. And the website, you guys already have that. The Chalkbeat article as well. I'll put it all in the chat. And again, thank you all for listening to my presentation. And anyone who's interested in learning more about Achillea, partnering, or donating, please email us at info@peertutoring. Let me put that email in first. I guess I'm going to open the floor to questions now.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That was a phenomenal presentation. It's so well researched, so definitely appreciate it. I'm now going to open the floor up to the judges for their comments or questions.
I'll start us out. So thank you for all of this information. I wanted to celebrate your methodology, which you did your assessment. It tells us it's more than just a child, or how they say children are lazy. It's more to that. Part of your methodology, when you showed us the assessment, that rubric, I think a few slides ago, where it was technological problems, it was all these other things. Yes, this one here.
Yeah.
And then you also spoke to the process of these youth are from the ACS system. So I want to celebrate you on doing your research with that. One thing I did want to ask, are you familiar with the Pip system, Pay Information Portal? No, that's okay. I'll explain it. So you are a more advanced agency on the call, right? Presenting today. I invite you to look into the Pip system, PIP, which is the Pay Information Portal. It is the system the City of New York uses. This is how we fund programs. So once you upload all of your information, if we have an RFP, request for proposal, that's released, that's how we'll deem you, and then we'll send it to you automatically, and you could choose to apply or not. So something to look into, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, I'm so glad you asked that question, Michelle, because I was just thinking, how can the school that I work for access your services? Because we are an alternative high school. There are many transitional high schools, alternative high school programs in just New York City alone. I can imagine on a national scale how much your targeted tutoring services would really benefit from this. So it made me think about where you're marketing it to and how you're getting your clients, because I want you to be a client at our school with that Pip system that you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm. I did put my contact info in the chat. So if you guys have, if you want to follow up to learn more or about partnering or donating, you have my contact.
And how do you market your company and organization, and how you guys get clients?
So it's really a mixture of stuff. We did an outreach program. We were currently partnered with we've worked with at least 20 foster care agencies. So from there, it really spreads word of mouth. Students as well, they'll refer each other. We were covered in a Chalkbeat article, so that's given us, some more, an additional, PR and the social media marketing, as I had mentioned. We got the TikTok thing that 35,000 views, 13,000 likes. And also we offer the community service opportunity for high school students. It's a graduation requirement, so they do end up looking online for these opportunities. So we have our SEO, we have the website, so they know where to find us.
Thanks, Dr. Badil. Sarah, the teacher in me, my heart is, I am full. The educator in me is beyond excited to have gotten in the crosshairs with you and to meet you. I do have one question, and I definitely will be reaching out, and we'll be talking offline. Like I said in the beginning, I offer coaching support to schools and teachers and leaders. So I definitely want to see how I can support and help your organization. I know that you mentioned that, and you named it, that a lot of your tutors come from specialized high school. Can you speak to a little more to the work that you are doing to expand? Like, how specifically are you looking to expand? Because like you mentioned, there is a lack of diversity in specialized high school. And we know that in a program like this, we want every student or every potential tutor to feel like they have a space at your organization. So how do you plan on doing that?
So we're not we're in 24 states, so New York is actually only, one of the states we have. So most of our tutors are not who don't go to specialized high schools. It just so happens that in New York, most of them do, because specialized high schools have a higher requirement for community service. But we don't limit it to students who go to specialized high schools. Anyone can sign up, provided that they have the grades to back it up, and the teacher recommendation. And actually, the fact that we do have so many students tutored from specialized high schools actually helps to bridge the gap there, because I'm a person of color who went to a specialized high school, but it was it's not easy, right? And so having a tutor who has been through this, who is in the specialized high school system, it helps prepare these students in terms of what are some good test taking strategies? How do I prepare for this test? How do some of them have never even heard about this test. So it gives them this one-on-one attention to help improve the diversity within these schools, because the same students that these tutors are working with could then have the potential to join these schools.
Thank you, Sarah.
Wow. Each presentation, I'm just blown away. Sarah, I want to say, I just commend you for all of the hard work that you did. And I'm also happy that scholars are able to see your presentation so that they can understand, once the company is set up, that partnerships can come about. So I like that. I also like the fact that you talked about how during the pandemic, you was able to expand because the opportunity gave you an opportunity to expand outside of New York City, which was amazing. So now I have two questions for you. One, I believe this is an amazing concept for teens to make money and do something great at the same time. So I can see you expanding greatly. So what I want to ask you, what does your training consist of for your tutors that are currently on board? How do you train them to teach, right? And how do you motivate them to continue on your platform?
Sure. So why don't I pull up the website so I can lead you through the training curriculums we've created. And so as I've mentioned here, can everyone see my screen? Here, let's try this. If not, okay. If not, let me put it in the chat. So here are the training resources. So we train students in foster care awareness so that they can help empathize with their students and understand where they're coming from. You can also look at this link, and it literally links to all of our curriculums. The TIC training, so the trauma-informed care training, which is so important because, as I mentioned, 100% of youth have experienced trauma, 25% have experienced PTSD. So knowing those trauma-informed practices to not re-trigger the student is essential to creating that safe space, that safe learning space. And then teaching fundamentals, right? You have to equip these tutors with, strategies to make them better teachers, to make them better educators. We also have a database of online learning tools and lesson plans, to help enrich those sessions.
Thank you. That definitely answers my question. And then I just have one last question for you. I believe that the idea of tutoring is awesome because oftentimes people relate better with their peers. So my question to you is, I know that it was created specifically for those in foster care. Do you see yourself expanding outside of that foster care model? And did you consider, I know a lot of the students today talked about an app, and I feel like you are someone who could benefit greatly from an app. Do you have that technology as a part of your expansion plan?
Absolutely. We actually have some coders who are working for us pro bono. They're the ones who are creating this automated database so that we don't have to spend time creating the matches ourselves. So we do have the bandwidth to then work with programming. I'm thinking of expanding because a huge part of our model are, children who have experienced ACEs or adverse childhood experiences, which goes into the TIC model. So, we're looking to expand to other students. We are also thinking of having another fundraising strategy where if you're a donor and you want to support us, you can actually sign your student up for tutoring, but we'll charge your child up for tutoring, and we'll charge you. So you'll pay $35 an hour, but at the same time, the students who are in care will get free tutoring. So you're paying for your child, but you're also paying for another child. So you're paying for two kids, and you're paying it forward with the donation. So we are thinking to expand.
I love it.
you.
And I want to tell you, parents will hire you. Parents are looking for tutors and they often can't afford, the higher pay, one. So the higher priced one. So I feel like
Agreed.
incredible model, totally impressive, and also impressive for other youth, because from the model that you have created, now you can show other youth how they could take their idea and concept and turn it into a real thing. So kudos to you.
Wow. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. That was a phenomenal presentation.